what's up? It's Grace, and right now I'm going to talk about the books that have made me cry. I noticed recently that I've been reading some books that are supposed to be sad, they're supposed to bring out that emotion in you, and my face is dead. I'm like, okay, but then a dog dies and it's done. I'm done, I throw that book. Anyway, I think it takes a lot to make me cry, particularly in books, because you know, I'll go on Facebook just to see how my friends are doing and my family's doing. Find myself watching a video of a dog that was abused but now has a good home and I'm bawling. One time I saw like turtles being hatched and I started crying. So some things make me cry that are just weird. But in books, it takes a lot for a book to bring out that emotion in me. And these are the books that have. There's probably a lot more. I'm picking these. I'm not going to mention Harry Potter, The Infernal Devices, and The Mortal Instruments because of course I cried in them because I was just so invested. But let's just go ahead and get started on the other ones. The first book that I'm going to talk about that has made me cry is the second book in a series. I cried in the last book, but I cried more so in this book because the ending was just, I am still not over it. Like, I've concluded this trilogy and I'm still not over the second book. And that is The Winter's Crime by Marie Rudkowski. I lent this book to a friend and that's why I almost lent the dust jacket. But this book made me cry at the end so hard. I remember ending that book and being like, I have to wait a year. And usually I'm pretty cool with like, I'll wait a year, whatever. That happens all the time. But I had to wait a year for this. And then by the time the year happened, I was still thinking about it. If I were to think too hard, I would cry. Driving, think about it. Think about The Winter's Crime, bawling. Anyway, this book made me sob. The next book that I also was bawling in my car because of, and I listened to it on audiobook, and it's being lent to a friend right now, and that is Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein, or Wein. It's a World War II novel centering around these two girls, and what really kicked me was, well, I can't say it because obviously I can't because it's a spoiler. The friendship and the way it was narrated was out of this world, and I remember driving, I couldn't see because I was sobbing so hard, and it was one word that made me sob. And if you give me a good friendship, okay, I gotta stop talking because I'm gonna spoil it, but I couldn't see, guys. I was driving and I was like, I'm gonna die because that book made me cry so hard. 5 out of 5 stars, or did I give it 5 or 4.5? I don't know, but oh my god, that book was amazing and made me sob like a little baby. The next two books that have made me cry are also World War II novels, and that is Between Shades of Grey and Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys, the same author. I recommend that you read this book first before reading this because it's in chronological order, and I think that you'll get more out of it if you do. This is set in Lithuania, and it's about this girl. Her dream is to go to art school, but unfortunately her, dreams are hindered because she is taken and separated from her family, or from her father, and her mom and her brother are taken to a prison camp in Siberia. And so there's that, and then there's also Salt to the Sea, and you follow multiple POVs in this. Just read them, because I cried because the writing is so beautiful. Also, you get so connected with these characters, and you read these in like a day, less than a day, because these books are so good. And I cried not only for the characters, but because our world actually went through this and people went through this, so it's just so devastating, but so important to learn and read about. So even thinking about this brings back a lot of feelings. Just read these. Next book that has made me cry, which is weird because I remember picking this book up a long time ago and starting it thinking it was just gonna be a cute little contemporary, but little did I know I cried in like every chapter. It was just like one word that hit me so hard, and I don't know why, but I just sobbed like throughout this entire book, and that is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I'm sure like this is talked about so much, but I don't know, I know that other people have cried even maybe more than me, but I just remember I bawled literally through this whole thing. I don't know what it was, just everything made me cry. When Park shared his comics, bawling, I was just sobbing because he shared his comics, and it was so good. Read it. The next book that has made me cry, I'm just gonna hold it up because it's talked about so much, but just know that I bawled at the end, and that is. The next book that has made me cry was so surprising, and I cried out of happiness, which is awesome because it feels so good to cry out of happiness. And that is Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. This follows the girl with OCD and how she deals with it, and it's dealt with in such a great way. There's a plot twist that you don't expect in this, or personally I didn't, because it's a contemporary, it's set in high school. Like, I don't know, I was just expecting like, I'm don't even know, but it just blew me away. It was so beautiful. The ending was fantastic. I love these characters. Just a great book that I cried in. The next book that I cried in has kind of a funny story. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on my channel, but I had no plans on reading this whatsoever. I knew how it was gonna end. I wasn't spoiled. I just kind of had this feeling about how it was gonna end, and I was at a point in my life where I didn't like to read sad things, so I was like, not gonna read it. So I was at Barnes & Noble and I saw it and I was like, might as well read the last sentence because I'm super smart and I don't know why I did that. And I read the last sentence, and just the last sentence alone made my heart shrivel up, and I was like, yep, never gonna read that. A couple weeks passed and I was just so in the mood to read it, even though I kind of knew, I basically knew how it was gonna end. And that is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Everyone cries in this book, obviously, but this book is so beautifully written, and it follows this little boy. Mom has cancer, and he's dealing with that along with he's being bullied at school. Just the message about being invisible in this, oh, it's just so beautiful. And I just recently watched the trailer for the, I'm gonna cry, but I just recently watched the trailer. And the trailer, I would chills all around, all through my body, because it was just so beautiful. I'm so excited to see that. Usually I say that about a lot of things, or a lot of movie adaptations, and I never actually go and see them. Because like Me Before You, I was so excited for that adaptation, and I still haven't seen it. But I know the day that this comes out, I'm gonna see it. And it's just so good.
From that.
And the last book that I'm going to talk about that has made me cry harder than anything I've ever read, and even after the fact that I had read it, even trying to talk about the way I felt about it, I just couldn't talk about it without bawling. Ask my mom, because I was trying to tell her and I was just sobbing to her. And that is obviously my favorite book of all time, and that is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. Not going to go too into it because I talk about it a lot, but this book has made me cry, and if I just pick it up and I'll flip through it, I'm crying. I haven't seen the movie for this. I don't think I'm gonna anytime soon. I just don't have, I know it's I've heard really great things about it. I just haven't seen it because I don't feel like it, I guess, but I just need to be in the right state of mind and feel like it. But anyway, this book made me cry. Oops, oh no! I really need to get the collector's edition of this one badly. Those are all the books that I'm going to talk about in this video that have made me cry. Obviously there's a lot more, but I don't want this video to be like 1,000 years long. I would love to know what book has made you cry the hardest, like takes the cake for everything you've ever read, and maybe I'll read it, but I gotta be in the right mindset. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!